you're deep in meditation. The room is quiet, save for the faint hum of your breath moving in and out, steady as waves lapping at a shore. Your body feels heavy yet suspended, as though gravity has softened its grip just enough to let you float between worlds. And then it happens, sharp, sudden. An itch blooms on your forearm like a tiny flare signaling from some unseen realm. Without thinking, you scratch it, instinct taking over before awareness can catch up. But as soon as your fingers stop moving, something pulls you up short. You freeze, hand hovering mid-air because somewhere inside, a whisper rises. What if this wasn't random? What if that itch was trying to tell me something? It's strange how these small sensations can hijack our attention so completely, isn't it? A mosquito bite or dry skin might explain most cases, but sometimes, just sometimes, it feels like there's more going on beneath the surface. There's actually a term for when people experience phantom itching without any physical cause: formication. Ever heard of it? It comes from the Latin word for ants, because it often feels like insects crawling under the skin. According to Wikipedia, it's basically a tactile hallucination where someone perceives bugs or other irritants, even though nothing's there. Science tells us it could stem from stress, neurological conditions, or certain medications messing with the brain's sensory processing. While that explanation makes sense logically, it doesn't quite satisfy the deeper curiosity gnawing at you right now. Because what about those moments when no medical reason exists, yet the itch persists? When logic falls silent and intuition steps forward instead? Let's sit with that idea for a moment, shall we? Imagine pruritus, the fancy word for itching, not just as a nuisance, but as a potential message encoded into your very cells. Think about it. Your body isn't separate from your spirit. They're intertwined, like threads woven together into one seamless fabric. So why wouldn't your soul find ways to communicate through something as primal and immediate as touch? Maybe that sudden urge to scratch isn't merely an irritation. It's a nudge, a reminder, a signal flaring up to say, "Hey, pay attention here." Could it be pointing toward blocked energy trapped somewhere within? Or perhaps it's highlighting emotional residue clinging stubbornly to your aura, waiting patiently for release. Even karmic adjustments, those invisible shifts happening across lifetimes, might ripple through your physical self, leaving traces you can feel but not always see. Take chakras, for example. These energetic centers running along your spine are said to pulse with life force, each one governing different aspects of your being. If one gets clogged or out of balance, it might manifest physically, like, say, an itch near your throat. That area corresponds to the throat chakra, which governs communication and self-expression. Is it possible that persistent tickle is urging you to speak your truth, to voice something you've been holding back? Or consider the crown of your head linked to the crown chakra. An itch there might hint at spiritual awakening, or maybe resistance to letting go of old beliefs that no longer serve you. Then there's your auric field, that luminous halo surrounding your body. Sometimes emotions linger there long after the initial event has passed. Grief, guilt, shame. They don't vanish simply because time moves on. Instead, they hover, unresolved, until your body finds another way to bring them to light. And what better way than through your skin, the largest organ you have, constantly interacting with the world around you. Speaking of unresolved emotions, I want to share a story with you. Not mine, but someone else's, a woman named Maria. She came across my mind while I was thinking about all this. Maria had been dealing with an unrelenting itch between her shoulder blades for weeks. At first, she chalked it up to seasonal allergies, or maybe sleeping funny. But no matter what cream she tried or how many showers she took, the sensation wouldn't budge. No rash appeared, no redness, nothing visible to explain it, just that persistent tickle nagging at her day after day. Finally, frustrated and desperate for answers, she decided to try breathwork during a guided session online. As she lay there focusing on her inhales and exhales, something unexpected happened. Tears began streaming down her face, hot and uncontrollable. Her chest heaved with sobs she didn't realize she'd been holding in. By the end of the session, exhausted but lighter somehow, Maria understood. That itch hadn't been about her skin at all. It had been grief. Deep, unspoken grief lodged in her heart space, unable to move until she gave it permission to surface. Once acknowledged, the itching faded almost overnight. Isn't that remarkable? How the body holds on to things we refuse to confront directly. Sometimes it takes something as simple and maddening as an itch to remind us of what lies buried underneath. And that's where things get personal. Next time you feel that familiar urge to scratch, don't rush to dismiss it. Instead, pause. Really pause. Take a breath and ask yourself quietly, what am I resisting feeling? It sounds deceptively simple, I know, but trust me, it works. Often the answer will rise naturally, unbidden, like bubbles breaking the surface of still water. Other times you might need to dig a little deeper. Journaling can help with that. Try writing with your non-dominant hand. It sounds odd, I admit, but it bypasses the analytical part of your brain, giving your subconscious room to speak freely. Scribble whatever comes to mind, even if it seems nonsensical at first. Patterns may emerge later, connections you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. If writing feels too daunting, there are other tools you can use to explore what's hiding beneath the itch. Chakra tapping, for instance, involves gently patting specific areas of your body associated with each energy center. Start at the base of your spine and work your way up, using your fingertips to lightly drum against your skin. Feel free to hum or chant softly as you do it. It amplifies the effect. Energy brushing is another technique worth exploring. Picture yourself standing in front of a mirror, holding an imaginary broom made of golden light. Sweep it slowly over your body, starting from your head and working downward, visualizing any stagnant energy dissolving with each stroke. Breathe deeply throughout the process, imagining fresh vitality filling the spaces you've cleared. Or maybe visualization resonates more with you. Close your eyes and imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet, anchoring you firmly to the earth. With every inhale, draw in calm, grounding energy. With every exhale, release tension and anything that no longer serves you. Let the imagery guide you, trusting that your intuition knows exactly what you need. Now let's circle back to the idea of hidden messages for a moment. Have you ever noticed how certain parts of your body seem to act as magnets for discomfort? Knees, elbows, the arches of your feet, they all carry their own symbolic weight. Feet, for example, symbolize movement and progress. If you find yourself itching there, could it signify hesitation about stepping forward into new opportunities? Hands represent action and creation. Persistent itching in your palms might suggest frustration over projects left unfinished or talents untapped. Shoulders, meanwhile, bear burdens literal and metaphorical. That nagging sensation between your shoulder blades, perhaps it's urging you to set down responsibilities weighing heavily on your spirit. Pay attention to recurring themes too. Are you scratching the same spot repeatedly? Does the location correspond to a memory or emotion tied to a particular phase of your life? Our bodies remember everything, storing experiences in muscles, joints, and tissues. Listening to them requires patience, yes, but also a willingness to trust the wisdom they hold. Of course, none of this means ignoring practical causes entirely. Allergies, infections, dermatitis, they're real and they deserve proper care. Always consult a doctor if symptoms persist or worsen. Yet even then, it's worth asking whether underlying factors beyond the physical might be contributing. Stress, for instance, wreaks havoc on immune systems and nervous responses alike. Emotional turmoil can trigger inflammatory reactions, creating feedback loops that amplify both mental and bodily distress. Breaking those cycles starts with awareness. Recognizing the interplay between mind, body, and spirit opens doors to healing methods traditional medicine alone might overlook. Combining conventional treatments with holistic practices creates a synergy capable of addressing root causes rather than just alleviating symptoms. And speaking of synergy, let's talk about rituals. Rituals are powerful because they anchor abstract concepts into tangible actions. They give shape to intentions, transforming fleeting thoughts into deliberate acts of creation. Grounding rituals, especially, provide stability during times of uncertainty. One such ritual involves lighting a candle, any color you're drawn to, and sitting quietly beside it. Focus on its flame, letting its warmth radiate outward and envelop you. As you watch it flicker, envision any lingering anxieties or doubts burning away, leaving only clarity in their wake. Another option is gathering stones or crystals known for their calming properties, amethyst, rose quartz, or clear quartz work beautifully and arranging them in a circle around you. Lie down within the circle, closing your eyes as you breathe deeply. Visualize their energies merging with yours, harmonizing discordant frequencies until equilibrium returns. Simple gestures like these foster connection, not only with yourself, but also with the greater web of existence surrounding you. There's something profoundly comforting about realizing you're never truly alone in this journey. Whether you call them guides, ancestors, angels, or simply universal forces, countless beings walk alongside you, offering support whenever you choose to listen. Those whispers you hear amid the silence? They're reminders of that presence. The next time an itch arises unexpectedly, lean into it. Don't fight it or suppress it outright. Instead, embrace it as an invitation, an opportunity to delve deeper into the mysteries housed within your own being. Ask questions, seek answers. Trust the process, knowing that every sensation carries meaning, every moment holds potential. Let's linger here for a moment longer, shall we? The idea that your body is not just flesh and bone, but a living map of your soul's journey feels both humbling and empowering. It's like realizing you've been carrying around a treasure chest all along, only to discover its contents are far richer than you ever imagined. And those itches, they're little keys jingling softly, waiting for you to pick them up and unlock what lies within. I think about how often we dismiss our body's signals as nuisances rather than messages. How many times have you scratched an itch without giving it a second thought? Maybe it was on your wrist, or behind your ear, or somewhere else entirely unremarkable. But what if instead of brushing it aside, you leaned into it just a little? What if you asked, not with skepticism but with genuine curiosity, what that sensation might be trying to tell you? You'd be surprised by how much wisdom emerges when you stop resisting and start listening. Take Sarah, for instance. She came to mind because her story feels so relatable, so human. Sarah had always been someone who prided herself on staying busy. Work, family, friends. She juggled it all with a kind of relentless efficiency that made everyone around her marvel. But beneath the surface, she was running on fumes. One day, during a particularly hectic week, she started noticing an itch at the base of her neck. At first, she assumed it was dry skin or maybe irritation from her scarf. But days turned into weeks, and the itch persisted, stubborn and unyielding. No lotion helped. No change in clothing seemed to make a difference. Frustrated, she finally decided to sit with it, not literally scratching it away, but metaphorically sitting with whatever it represented. It wasn't until she attended a yoga class focused on releasing tension in the neck and shoulders that something shifted. As she moved through gentle stretches, the instructor encouraged participants to focus on their breath and visualize any stored emotions melting away. For Sarah, the floodgates opened unexpectedly. Memories surfaced of arguments swallowed whole, compromises made begrudgingly, favors granted resentfully, all the ways she'd been shouldering burdens she never voiced aloud. By the end of the session, tears streamed down her face as she realized the itch wasn't random. It was tied to her throat chakra, yes, but also to the weight of unspoken truths pressing against her spirit. Once she acknowledged them and began finding healthier ways to communicate her needs, the itch disappeared almost overnight. Stories like Sarah's remind me of how interconnected everything truly is. Your physical self doesn't exist in isolation. It's constantly in dialogue with your emotional and spiritual selves. When one part of that triad gets out of balance, the others feel it too. That's why paying attention to seemingly minor sensations can lead to profound breakthroughs. An itch on your ankle might seem insignificant, but trace it back far enough, and you might find it linked to feelings of instability or fear of moving forward. A persistent tickle near your solar plexus could point to unresolved anger or frustration simmering below the surface. Even something as fleeting as a scalp itch might signal a need to reconnect with your higher purpose or intuition. This concept, that every sensation carries a message, opens up endless possibilities for exploration. Consider the role of synchronicity, for example. Have you ever noticed how certain events align perfectly, as if guided by an invisible hand? Maybe you dreamt of a childhood friend you hadn't thought about in years, only to bump into them the next day. Or perhaps you stumbled upon a book that answered questions you didn't even realize you had. These moments feel magical precisely because they defy logic, pointing instead to a deeper order underlying reality. Itches can serve a similar function, acting as synchronistic signposts, nudging you toward alignment. Imagine waking up one morning with an inexplicable itch on your left palm. Throughout the day, you notice recurring themes related to abundance or generosity. Someone compliments your generosity. You overhear a conversation about financial prosperity, or you randomly decide to donate to charity. Initially, these occurrences might seem coincidental, but as the pattern repeats, you begin to wonder, could the itch be highlighting an opportunity to cultivate greater abundance in your life? To give freely without expecting anything in return? By tuning into these synchronicities, you deepen your connection to the flow of life, allowing yourself to be carried by its currents rather than fighting against them. This interplay between internal sensations and external circumstances creates a feedback loop of awareness. The more you pay attention to your body's signals, the more attuned you become to the world around you. And vice versa, the more you engage with your environment, the clearer your body's messages become. It's a symbiotic relationship, one that rewards curiosity and openness. Let's pause here for a moment to reflect on resistance. Resistance plays such a pivotal role in this process, doesn't it? So often we resist feeling uncomfortable emotions, preferring instead to distract ourselves or numb the pain. But what happens when we lean into that discomfort instead? When we allow ourselves to feel fully, without judgment or avoidance, transformation occurs, growth happens, healing takes root. Think back to Maria and Sarah. Both women faced resistance initially. Maria resisted grieving her loss, while Sarah resisted expressing her frustrations. Only by confronting those obstacles head-on did they find resolution. Their journeys remind us that resistance isn't inherently bad. It's simply a protective mechanism designed to shield us from perceived threats. The challenge lies in recognizing when that protection becomes counterproductive and choosing to step beyond it. Which brings me to another point: courage. Exploring the depths of your psyche requires immense bravery. It means facing shadows you'd rather leave undisturbed, questioning beliefs you've held dear, and embracing uncertainty even when it feels terrifying. But oh, the rewards! Each step forward reveals new facets of yourself. Each layer peeled away unveils greater authenticity. Courage breeds confidence, which in turn fosters resilience. Together, these qualities form the foundation for lasting change. And speaking of change, let's talk about adaptability. Life rarely follows a straight line. It zigzags and loops and occasionally doubles back on itself. Being adaptable means embracing this unpredictability, trusting that detours often lead to unexpected treasures. When an itch arises, resist the urge to label it as inconvenient or annoying. Instead, view it as an opportunity to pivot, to adjust your course slightly, to explore paths you might otherwise overlook. Flexibility keeps you nimble, enabling you to navigate life's twists and turns with grace and ease. At this point, you might be wondering, how do I integrate all these ideas into my daily routine? How do I stay mindful of my body's signals amidst the chaos of modern living? Start small. Choose one practice: meditation, journaling, energy work, and commit to it consistently. Set aside 5 minutes each morning or evening to check in with yourself. Notice how your body feels. Are there areas of tension or discomfort? Any lingering sensations calling for attention? Approach this exercise with curiosity rather than obligation. Over time, it will become second nature, like brushing your teeth or tying your shoes. Additionally, create rituals that anchor you throughout the day. Light a candle during meals to foster gratitude. Take 3 deep breaths before answering emails to center yourself. Sprinkle lavender oil on your pillowcase at night to promote restful sleep. These small acts accumulate, reinforcing your commitment to presence and self-care. Finally, remember to celebrate progress, no matter how incremental. Healing isn't a destination, it's a lifelong journey marked by milestones big and small. Acknowledge each step forward, honoring the effort it took to get there. Celebrate victories, learn from setbacks, and keep moving ahead with faith and determination. By now, hopefully, you feel a sense of clarity and possibility blooming within you. The notion that your body speaks a language of its own, one rich with symbolism and meaning, opens doors to self-discovery previously unimaginable. Each itch, each twinge, each ache carries a message, a whisper from your soul, urging you to pay attention, to dig deeper, to embrace the full spectrum of your humanity. And as you embark on this journey of exploration, may you do so with an open heart, a curious mind, and a steadfast belief in the beauty of becoming. Because ultimately, that's what this is all about. Becoming. Becoming more aware, more compassionate, more aligned with your truest self. Becoming a vessel for love, light, and limitless potential. Becoming whole. And isn't that worth every itch along the way? As we continue exploring this intricate dance between body and spirit, let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. Every sensation, every emotion, every experience contributes to the tapestry of your existence. Each thread, no matter how tangled or frayed, adds depth and texture to the overall design. So the next time you feel that familiar urge to scratch, remember, beneath that fleeting sensation lies a universe waiting to be explored. And who knows? You might just discover treasures you never knew existed, hidden in plain sight all along. The beauty of this journey lies in its infinite complexity. There's always more to uncover, more to understand, more to integrate. Whether you're navigating the subtle nuances of chakras, deciphering the symbolic significance of recurring itches, or simply learning to trust the wisdom of your body, you're participating in a process that transcends time and space. You're connecting with something eternal, something sacred, something profoundly human. So keep listening, keep leaning in, keep trusting that the whispers you hear are leading you exactly where you need to go. After all, the path to wholeness is paved with curiosity, courage, and compassion for yourself and for the world around you. And as you walk that path, may you find joy in the discovery, peace in the unfolding, and love in the becoming.